Welcome to another edition of Tom's Takes. Today I want to talk about a movie I saw last night. I saw the new Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man: A New Day Begins. I really enjoyed that movie. I saw it at the theater with my friend and my friend's wife. One of my best friends, he is huge into comics, especially Spider-Man. That's his favorite Marvel favorite superhero of all time, Marvel or DC. And we're both in our mid 50s, and I remember back in our 40s, we were talking about Marvel heroes and all these plot lines, and my friend's wife got really angry at both of us. Like, stop! I hate when you guys get like this. It's like you guys are in your 40s and you guys are getting excited over comic books, over superheroes. It's like, hey, haven't you outgrown those? And we're like, no, not yet. I mean, I won't. I fell in love with comic books when I was probably in junior high. I think I fell in love with them with the Secret Wars series. That's when there was this character called the Beyonder. He was powerful. He was powerful as a god. He took like all the Marvel heroes, a lot of them, and a lot of the Marvel villains, and he made them fight. And it was ever since then it just captured my imagination. And I always liked the. I remember when I was 3 years old, I really liked the Adam West Batman. My mom, she would always tell me that, oh, when you were growing up, you used to always love that da-na-na-na-na-na-na Batman. So I always had a fascination with it. But I do recommend, if you're into Spider-Man at all, this is probably the best movie in the franchise in my opinion. I always seem to say that after every new movie that comes out, but after I watch it a couple of times, I'm not as enamored by it. But it was good. There was a lot of there was a lot of action. It was a lot of the web slinging, which I absolutely loved. And the theater that we're in, I don't think it was IMAX, but it almost felt that you were swinging along with Spidey, and the action and the storyline was pretty good. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but for the most part, it starts off with Spider-Man. It's called A Brand New Day because his life kind of starts from ground zero. In the last movie, Doctor Strange, I don't want to go into the whole thing, but just because that's another, I don't know if I completely understand it, but he had to create a spell which would make everyone forget who that Peter Parker was, Spider-Man. The movie prior to the one previous from the last one, his identity was revealed. So he purposely stayed away from like his friends, and his Aunt May passed away. She was killed, and so he's all alone, and he's spending all his time, for the most part, his identity as Peter Parker. He's trying to push that down, and he's trying to spend all his time being Spider-Man. And I was watching this, and the thing I like about Spider-Man, and I recently watched a YouTube video about the history of Marvel Comics, and they were talking that Spider-Man was one of the first comics where they did a deep dive into the dual personality of a superhero. You got Spider-Man, but he's also Peter Parker, who's a kid who, at the time, he was a high schooler, and he's juggling and trying to keep a secret identity going to high school. So I really kind of like the fact that with Marvel Comics and comics in general, they do a deep dive into their personal life. So it kind of makes them more human. So I really do like that. But in A Brand New Day, there's a heavy emphasis that he's isolated. For the most part, he's still very much in love with Mary Jane, who is his girlfriend in the previous two movies. But he's purposely staying away from him, just Mary Jane and his friend Ned, just because his aunt got killed in the last movie, and he wanted to keep them out of peril. And for the most part, he's just stalking him on social media, just looking at MJ, and kind of reminded me a little about Obsession, just about some guy that really wanted to connect with Nikki, but that's a separate movie. But it was good. There was a lot of action, and I like the format of Spider-Man. I feel like every superhero movie has to follow a certain format that I like. I like it when the hero starts off as kind of like the alpha, beating up the villains relatively easy, and then maybe midway through it starts developing the character, the main villain, and at the end the superhero struggles but eventually comes through and is triumphant. The Superman movie from last year, I liked it, but the thing I didn't like about it is he got his ass kicked throughout the movie. From like the first scene on, he just got his ass kicked, and at the end he was triumphant. I kind of like the Superman where he is just dominant and he's just beating up everyone relatively easy, and towards the end some guy has kryptonite and they weaken him, and then he gets rid of the kryptonite, and then he saves everything at the end. I kind of like that format as opposed to the superhero getting his butt kicked throughout the movie. But it was good. Gosh, I feel like I'm all over the place, but it showed in the beginning all the villains that he was putting away, and one really interesting part of the movie is he has a special bond with the Punisher. They're actually kind of friends, and they kind of help each other, but Punisher, he is a stone cold killer. Granted, he kills like gangsters and criminals, but nonetheless, he's about as big a criminal as you could get. I mean, he mercilessly kills people, but they have a bond. It's just like they genuinely do like and respect each other, which it works in the movie, but I don't think it would work. And that's definitely a plot hole. Just because Spider-Man should treat Punisher as if he is just a regular villain. The main villain in this movie, spoiler alert, is Jean Grey. She is from the X-Men, and she's a very powerful telekinesis. When her power is at its full in the comic books, she becomes Dark Phoenix, and Dark Phoenix is one of the most powerful superheroes in Marvel. I'm not exactly sure what her power is, but I remember in the comics, she has so much power, she is able to destroy the world just with her mind. And with this, there was a little bit of a lead up to it. Jean Grey was like controlling people's minds, and they would do things like they were trying to get into this prison called Damage Control, and she would control these people to. She controlled Scorpion. Scorpion is one of Spider-Man's supervillains, but and she was trying to use Scorpion to get into Damage Control, but when Spider-Man would get a hold of them, they would kind of like get out of it, and they would have like no memory of it, and there was a lot going on. I'm kind of all over the place with this explanation, but I do like that the Hulk made an appearance in it. With the Hulk, I like the Hulk when he's just this big, monstrous Hulk, just like out of control, just savage. I don't like what Marvel did toward the end. They kind of made him like an intellectual. I don't like the Hulk like that, but for the most part, there was a cool fight scene between Hulk and Spider-Man and the Punisher, and the Hulk had something that kind of controlled his powers, but once that was taken off, he became like this big, brutish Hulk, and I kind of like that. Him and Spider-Man when at it, and it was definitely a good fight scene. And towards the end, Jean Grey, she was controlling people because Damage Control kidnapped her sister, and she wanted to get her sister back, and but then Jean Grey wound up getting captured herself, and they were trying to Damage Control was trying to see how powerful she was, but her power was much stronger than her sister, and it kind of got to the point where they couldn't control her, and she was able to turn the tables around on Damage Control, and I need to see the movie more than once. It's watching it. Just watching it one time, I'm like trying to remember bits and pieces of it, and I'm kind of all over the place on it. But all right, but for the most part, one theme that is in this movie is I mentioned Peter Parker is estranged from his friends, and he's kind of Facebook stalking Mary Jane and all that, and then Mary Jane finally figures out that they knew each other at one time, but a lot's changed. Mary Jane has no memory of Peter, and she told Peter that I do not love you, and that was kind of soul crushing on that part of it. But there were a lot of heartwarming parts of the movie. The Punisher accidentally shoots Spider-Man. The Punisher was trying to take out Jean Grey because he was afraid that Jean Grey was going to just take out a good chunk of the city. So Spider-Man, with his spider senses, at the last minute took the bullet. And I feel like this is kind of another plot hole on the character. It just, Spider-Man, you could literally just beat the crap out of him and he's still fine. I mean, the Hulk was throwing him around, but at the same time, he's not bulletproof, so literally you could shoot him and kill him. But he could, it kind of reminds me of Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, she can, on her best day, she could beat Superman in a fight, survive a nuclear warhead, but she can't survive a direct hit from a bullet or like a piercing weapon like a knife. So she could literally survive a nuclear warhead on Friday, beat Superman up on Saturday, and then get shanked by some drug dealer on a Sunday and die. So I feel like that's like a big plot hole in it. But Spider-Man gets shot, and the Punisher and Spider-Man, they're in the hospital and they have a moment together. But at the end, there's a little bit of reconciliation with Peter and his friend Ned. It's like they do this handshake together, and then they realize that it kind of ends with that, where they realize that they meant something prior to that they kind of knew each other, and he might not have reconciled with Mary Jane, but it happens sometimes. Sometimes you don't get the girl at the end, but he did make a step in regards to breaking out of his isolation. So watch the movie. My explanation is not good, but at the same time, I do recommend it. It just, if you're into, I myself am very much into superheroes fighting and the web slinging and all that, and there is a good story that's also attached to the movie that has a lot of good moments. So other than that, I hope everyone has a wonderful Friday, and I will see everyone very shortly. And please like, follow, and comment. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any comments on the movie, let me know. I don't think I did the best job of explaining it, but if you have a specific question, I could probably answer those. Other than that, have a great Friday.